Hi, Steve and Caleb with Brownells here with another edition of Smyth Busters. And today we're going to look at the myth, is reloading more economical than buying factory ammunition? So you reload and you buy factory ammunition yourself. What's more economical?
Well, I suppose it depends on what caliber you're reloading for. If, let's say, for example, you were very dedicated to a specific plan, you could potentially save a good bit of money reloading. However, the dilemma is that even with the cheaper ammunition, when you reload, you tend to set aside a budget for that ammunition.
Sure.
And whatever you spend on that ammunition in reloading, of course you save money, but you end up with more ammunition, therefore you end up shooting more, so you don't actually save any money in the long run in most cases.
Plus there's the initial investment in equipment.
That's right.
Reloading press, reloading dies, powder scale, powder measure. There's no end to the tools you can get for this hobby.
Right, so I suppose if you were very disciplined, you could indeed save money reloading, but as a reloader, I can tell you right now, I don't save much money. However, that doesn't mean it's not worth it.
Right, now you could buy a simple Leeloader, you know,
Yep.
the thing you do by hand or with a mallet, and buy your powder, buy some bullets, buy some primer, and just do that, and that's very economical. But it doesn't work that well for all calibers. If you're shooting like 9mm, it's a pretty tough go. I've tried it with that tool. You really need a press and actual standard dies for that.
Right, yeah.
But then again, they'll say, if you're shooting 9mm, why bother to reload it? Because ammo's cheap.
Yeah, and if you're gonna get into bullet casting, you could save quite a bit reloading 9mm. However, you would of course be limited to shooting cast bullets. And
Right, if you have a cheap source of lead too.
If you have a cheap source of lead, so it's not ideal in all cases.
Back in the old days, the equipment didn't cost that much, and you could get free lead at a garage or something from wheel weights, and a bullet mold didn't cost that much either, and you could go to town and shoot your revolver or your automatic till the cows came home. And a lot of people shot them in rifles too.
Exactly, and now your modern wheel weights aren't made of lead, so you can't really use those for reloading, so that's no longer a cheap source of lead.
Yeah, a lot of zinc, a lot of steel wheel weights. You know, when I get a bucket, it's about 50-50, you know, usable versus non-usable.
Yeah, and whenever you get into the match ammunition, you can fine-tune your loaded cartridges for your rifle, and whenever you get into that match ammo is expensive to manufacture, so you could certainly save or save money in that aspect for sure.
Right, and if you shoot like an older obsolete type round, like I shoot 25-20, well, that's over $1 a round factory ammo when you can find it. So I reload it exclusively with cast and jacketed bullets.
If you had to guess, what would you say your average price is per bullet on that when you're reloading it?
Probably about a dime.
Yeah,
altogether.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it. So
100 shots is $10 versus, you know, whatever the factory is going to be. I think it was like $65 for a box of 50.
Yeah, so let's say in theory you were just going to reload for that. Eventually your equipment would certainly pay for itself.
Yeah,
So
in a hurry.
definitely worth
In a
it.
hurry. And then you've got the wildcat calibers or the non-standard calibers. If you shoot like something like a 460 or a 500 Smith & Wesson, I'd look into reloading for that because that is expensive ammunition. It's specialty ammo.
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely a big benefit in that aspect of it.
But 223, 9mm, you can get some really good bulk buys on loaded ammunition on that, and it's up to you if it's worth your while or not.
Yeah, unless you're looking for something really specific, it's not going to be worth it in most cases.
When I started reloading in the 80s, it was worth your while to reload. You saved a ton of money, even on 9mm, because you didn't see 9mm on the shelf in big box stores, you know, at a big discount. They just didn't work that way. It was all full boat retail, and it was all full metal jacket, and that's how I got into reloading, basically.
So over time, it can certainly be beneficial because if you're like me, you end up with extra stuff from previous reloading projects. Like I have a bunch of primers laying around, a bunch of powder laying around. So if I was going to reload something, assuming it took those primers and powders, I have everything I already need.
Right, plus if you have a cheap or a free source of brass too, fired brass.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So if you got a buddy at a shooting range or something, or you can scrounge him out the outdoor range, you can really make out that way.
So yeah, picking up free brass is definitely a no-brainer. And in times like these, when ammunition is really hard to get, you know, it used to be where ammunition's hard to get your reloading supplies, but now even reloading supplies are hard to get.
Particularly primers.
Primers, yeah, you can get brass, you can cast your own bullets, but primers.
That's what I'm most worried about right now, is replacing the primers I burn up.
Exactly. Yeah, it seems like that's the thing to stock up on.
Yeah, so I've kind of cut down a little bit on my reloading, or at least my expended rounds at the range. So all things considered, is it more economical to reload? It depends.
Yeah, if you're really disciplined, yes, so it's plausible that it is cheaper to reload. But in most cases, you end up not saving much money.
Right, because you spend a lot more time at the range shooting a lot more rounds.
Yep. So
And that's not bad.
Yeah, and for sake of argument, we'll just have to say plausible on this one.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for watching this edition. If you have any comments, please post them below. We'd like to hear from you and what you think about reloading versus factory ammo. We'll see you next time with another edition of Smyth Busters.